I'm Emily, and today I'll be chatting with Rob and Ellen about the ancient Greeks and their health. Hi, Ellen and Rob. We are learning all about the ancient Greeks and their health today, which is very exciting. When we're talking about health and how they dealt with medicine and being ill, we go back to the gods, and Asclepius is the god of health and medicine. He had quite a sad childhood. He was the son of Apollo, the god, and the mortal Coronis. And while he was very little, there's a couple of different stories about what might have happened to him. Coronis got fed up and didn't want to look after him anymore and left him to be looked after by a goat or possibly a dog. Or there's another story where Coronis actually cheated on Apollo, so he decided to murder her. Asclepius had kind of a crazy upbringing.
I don't know which version of events is better.
When his dad was bringing him up, he taught him about medicine and showed him herbs and magic. But unfortunately, Asclepius was so brilliant, rumors started circulating that he was bringing people back from the dead, and people weren't very happy with this. Well, not people, Zeus. So he decided to murder Asclepius with a thunderbolt. How did they worship him, and how did they actually get better? What did they do when they were ill? Well, most of the degree, they went to the temple. They also had, it was kind of like a B&B, I suppose, some of it. It's like the spa retreat rather than the spa day. A place called the Abato where they could go for overnight healing if they thought, maybe I'm not better yet, I might stay a couple more days. They could go and sleep there. And it also had a 6,000 seat theatre, as theatre was really important in their healing process.
It's almost kind of like we use all these things kind of like now, like we'll use the theatre and sport as kind of therapy for us, almost relevant, I think, to now as well.
Self-care.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you both. What do you think they did at the temple?
I feel like maybe they were like what we would think of as being gyms. So like they would maybe exercise. I don't know.
Okay. Rob?
Maybe they'd prayer and work, spend a lot of time kind of worshipping kind of what is around them and kind of where they are, and think they're quite lucky. So just, I think almost kind of meditation in a way as well, perhaps.
Okay. Well, most of the temples had this kind of thing going on. So there were priests wandering about where you kind of go up to them and show them your mangled leg, and they'd try and help you out. They used to bathe quite a lot. They were really clean people and believed that the water had magical properties, and they'd sleep overnight, and the temples were a pretty cool place to be. How did they change from being in temples to becoming more about clinical observation? So they learnt through a lot of different things. There was lots of wars going on, which forced them to learn how to start healing people. And then the Olympics was really important too, as they were figuring out how to properly give dietary requirements to athletes. They'd started paying a lot more attention into what their people were eating and how they were exercising. There was also people learning in different ways. So Pythagoras was there thinking a lot about numbers, and it wasn't just the triangles he was going on about. He also found some numbers to have special meaning, that the numbers 7 and 4 were really sacred. So 7 times 4 is 28, which is the number of days in the average menstrual cycle, and also in the lunar cycle. And then 7 times 40 is 280, which is actually the number of days for a full-term pregnancy of a woman. And they also thought that the number 40 was actually really sacred and was the perfect number of days to quarantine if you were ill. Here's the big guy, Hippocrates. So he comes along and he's like, right, everybody, all the illnesses, they have a natural cause. So he starts bringing in the use of clinical observation, tried to treat each patient as an individual. He opened the first ever medical school ever.
And is that why doctors take a Hippocratic oath when you finish medical school?
It is indeed. We're going to have a look at that now. So do you guys know what it is?
I think so. I think it's like the oath that doctors take when they finished medical school before they start practicing. It's like a promise to always, I think the gist of it is to preserve life, I think.
I haven't got a clue.
I have a copy of it on the next slide. If either of you would like to have a go at reading it and
Go on,
swear
Rob.
your soul to the doctors.
I've got a fancy notebook. Shall I pretend it's like and I'll hold it while Rob...
In court.
Go on, Rob, I'm ready.
Your oath. I swear by Apollo, the physician, and Asclepius, and Hygeia, and Panacea, and all the gods and goddesses as my witnesses, that, according to my ability and judgment, I will keep this oath and this contract. So long as I maintain this oath faithfully and without corruption, may it be granted to me to partake of life fully and the practice of my art, gaining the respect of all men for all time. However, should I transgress this oath and violate it, may the opposite be my fate.
It's really woke, isn't it?
It's a bit intense, isn't it?
Oh, I'm still holding this notebook. I can put that down now.
Okay, I have another question for you. Do you know what the 4 humours were?
Elbow.
Rob, have you got a prediction?
I've had humours. 4, I don't know.
4 humours.
I mean, Ellen said elbow, so now I'm thinking finger, and I don't know.
Basically, this, I suppose, they're a theory that was created. It was first thought of by Aristotle, actually. I'll give him his dues, but Hippocrates was the guy who kind of took it and went, right, we're doing this properly. I'm going to figure out what this stuff means. That the body functioned on 4 humours. So it was black bile, yellow bile, phlegm, and blood. And it was the belief that in order to have perfect health, you had to have all of your 4 humours in balance. So Shakespeare, what on earth does he have to do with all this? Shakespeare actually used the 4 humours in his work. So take Kate in Taming of the Shrew. She's a brilliant example of choler, which is caused by the yellow bile because of her anger and feistiness. And there's even a line in the play which is, "Oh, curb her headstrong humour," where Shakespeare literally tells us that he's using the 4 humours to make this character. Game time! Who wants to be an ancient GP?
How does it go? The theme song.
Dun, 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 dun.
I've got some patients coming in with some symptoms. I'll be the patient, and then there's 3 different options, and you guys have got to pick the correct treatment that the ancient Greek GP would have picked.
Sworn on the oath, so we can't get this wrong now.
Hello, doctor. I'm suffering from a chesty cough. What do you do? Do you A, pat me on the back 3 times, B, make me eat a rooster, or C, feed me barley and vinegar?
Okay, I'm going to go C, barley and vinegar, because that feels a bit like cough syrupy.
Yeah, I would say vinegar as well, because I don't know, it just seems like when you have a cough, you always have a drink to, well, I guess make it go away.
That is what they use. They sometimes add a little bit of honey as well, just for, sweetness. And honey has lots of really good healing properties.
Yeah, it's antiseptic, isn't it?
Afternoon, doctor. Side of my rib cage really hurts. Do you A, give me a mixture that makes me vomit, B, sponge the affected area with olive oil, or C, draw the blood from near the elbow?
Oh, I don't know. It would depend if you were like poorly or if it was muscular. So I'm going to go with make you sick and hope I haven't just killed you.
Yeah, that would seem like sense. I don't know what the elbow has to do with finding out the rib cage and stuff.
Well, I'd be dead. I probably wouldn't. I'd just have a poorly tummy. It's actually B and C, so you picked the only one that was wrong.
So how does the elbow thing work?
Well, so first up, they get a little sponge with some olive oil on it, and they'd sort of rub it on. So if my side was rubbed, they'd rub it on, and it actually heated the area up. It kept it warm, so it sort of worked like an ancient deep heat. But if that didn't work, they would then think, oh, there must be too much blood in the humours. We need to balance it. If the pain would kind of rise up, obviously it would come to the shoulder and down. So they think, well, we'll draw it down and out of the body.
Okay, that's not totally illogical.
I'm freezing cold, the doctor. Do you A, give me a nice bath, B, make me a drink to make me have diarrhea, or C, chop off my left wrist and sacrifice it to the gods?
I'm going to run you a nice bubble bath.
Why would you chop off a wrist?
I actually understand the wrist one.
No.
It was the other one. I was like, why would you do that?
Well, you will be pleased to know you're both correct. A warm bath was to draw out the excess phlegm into the warmth, and it would make me better. So well done. Didn't need the chopped off wrist. In conclusion, the ancient Greeks were amazing people. Not only were they creating brilliant theatre, they were also paving the way for the modern medical practice that we use today. And I think that's amazing.
Thanks, Emily. That was really cool. I loved that.
You're welcome.